Hi, welcome to another episode here on Creepy with Coffee. I'm Kim, your storyteller. Well, today's story is about an unwanted passenger. Well, let's have a listen. But before that, like usual, if you have yet to subscribe, I would appreciate it if you could. Like, share this with your family and friends. And if you have the time, please remember to comment some nice words down below in the comment section as well. Now, let's get on to the story.
This is Creepy with Coffee.
Let me share a story, one that truly happened to my friend's husband, Simon, not his real name. Simon once recounted this chilling tale on a social media in another dialect, but the person have rewritten it in English for us to have a listen on this episode. Simon worked as a truck driver, and one evening his boss tasked him with delivering goods from Kch-Sibu, a grueling 12 hours drive. To assist, he had a co-worker who helped load and unload the cargo. They set off around 4 p.m, driving into the evening as rain drizzled steadily. As they chatted to stay awake, Simon's co-worker suddenly whispered, "Boss, there is a woman with a child by the roadside." Simon squinted, but saw no one. "Where?" he asked, but his co-worker insisted. Reluctantly, Simon pulled the truck over. That's when he finally saw her, a young woman dressed in red, holding the hand of a boy wearing just shorts. The co-worker turned to Simon. "Should we give her a ride? It's raining and the kid." Simon hesitated but couldn't bring himself to say no. The woman and the child climbed into the cab, the boy sitting quietly on her lap. The woman was seated between Simon and his co-worker. As they drove on, Simon asked, "Where are you headed? And why travel so late at night, especially with your child in such weather?" Her voice was soft, barely audible over the rain, but she said, "I'm going to my mother's house. I couldn't stay with my husband any longer. He beats me every time he drinks." Simon felt a pang of sympathy. "Why don't you leave him or report him to the police?" I've thought about it, but I never got the chance," she replied, her tone hollow. They didn't press any further because they thought it's something that hits a different spot on the women. Soon they arrived at a roadside diner where Simon and his co-worker usually would stop. Simon turned to the woman. "We'll grab a quick bite. Want to come in? Want to join us?" She somehow shook her head and said, "No, I'll just wait here in the truck." Well, Simon then nodded, just think that it's okay, I'll bring you something. You and your boy must be hungry. Now, inside the diner, Simon placed the orders. The owner, who knew him well, looked uneasy as he handed over the food. His hand somehow trembled, and Simon frowned and asked, "You okay, boss? You look pale." The owner's eyes darted towards the truck parked outside, which is Simon's truck. "Simon, look up, on top of your truck." Simon froze. Slowly, he turned to look outside. There, perched on the truck's roof, was the same woman cradling her child, staring down at him. Her face was pale, expressionless, and her dark eyes locked onto his. Simon felt a chill crawl out his spine but dismissed it as a trick of a dim light. "Probably just a coincidence," he muttered to himself, brushing it off. The diner owner wasn't convinced. Abruptly closed the diner, shooing all the customers away. Now, Simon, back in the truck, handed the woman the food that he bought. She ate in silence, tears streaming down her face. The little boy sat stiffly, his skin unusually pale. Simon stole a glance at her. There was something odd about her now. A jagged tear ran down one side of her cheek, exposing raw grey flesh beneath. Simon's heart pounded. Hey, what happened to your face? She didn't answer. Instead, she muttered, "Drop me off at the next turn. My mother's house is just nearby." Well, Simon, without any further question, followed her direction, stopping at a dark, desolate bend. There was no houses in sight, just a silhouette of tall trees against the night sky. "Thank you," she said softly. "I had a plan, but both of you were so kind, so I changed my mind." Simon's chest tightened, thinking to himself, what plan? Then the lady smiled faintly, her eyes hollowed. She said, "Thank you for the food." She climbed down with her son and walked towards the darkness. Now Simon did not know what to do next, just continued with the journey, his mind racing. Why was there no sign of her mother's house? Why was the entire area pitch black with no street lights or buildings? Finally, they reached Kch-Sibu by dawn. Exhausted, Simon drifted into a fitful sleep in the storeroom, only to be jolted awake by a terrifying dream. In it, a woman appeared, her tear-streaked face more decayed than before. Then she said to Simon, "I didn't believe good men existed," she whispered. "I thought all men were cruel and vicious. I was going to make you and your friend disappear, but you were kind, so I let you go." Simon jolted awake, gasping, his body drenched in sweat. His co-worker, still awake, shook him. "Boss, what happened? Boss, you were yelling in your sleep." The next day, curiosity got the better of them. They detoured to the spot where they had dropped the woman off. What they found chilled them to the bone. No houses, no signs of life, just an overgrown path leading to an old, abandoned cemetery. Simon and his co-worker exchanged horrified glances. To this day, Simon says he'll never forget her face or her chilling, parting words. That's all the story for this episode. What do you think? If you meet a girl, a lady with a child on the roadside, would you pick her up? Leave it down below in the comment section. Until the next episode, I'm Kim. This is Creepy with Coffee.